like to call to order this meeting of Susquehanna Township Board of Commissioners. I would note that all commissioners are present with the exception of Commissioners Engel and Rothrock, who are excused. The Pledge of Allegiance and moment of silence is tradition for every meeting, and I'd like to please ask a guest of ours to lead us, if she would, in the Pledge of Allegiance, and that's Pamela Cross. Pamela?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody. And thanks, Pam. That was a great job. I would note that the board did meet in executive session. Sorry for the delay in getting out here, but we discussed matters of personnel and real estate. First up is petitions, complaints, suggestions from citizens. Does anybody wish to address the board tonight? Hearing none, move into approval of minutes, March 23rd, 2023. This is a workshop meeting.
I'll so move approval of the March 23rd minutes. Second.
Moved in second. Comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have two recognitions or presentations that we'd like to do. Both are proclamations, pointing out weeks that are coming up where we celebrate portions of our own workforce. First up is proclamation of the Susquehanna Township Board of Commissioners declaring the week of May 14 to 20 as Police Week in Susquehanna Township. Chief Martin, would you like to come up and kick it off, please? And after that, Commissioners Valona and Hisro will join you out front here for a photo with the plaque.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh,
There's a narrative.
I'm sorry. To read it? I got it.
Yep.
1962, President John F. Kennedy, the only president to be the recipient of the Purple Heart Medal, signed a proclamation designated May 15th, somebody I know's birthday, as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which that date falls as Police Week. This year, National Police Week is scheduled for the week of May 14th to May 20th. Provided with the agenda is a copy of the proclamation declaring the same week to be Police Week in Susquehanna Township. The proclamation is to demonstrate the gratitude and respect the community has for the men and women who dedicate their lives to service to our community.
It's appropriate that you be reading that since it was John Kennedy.
Yes.
We know he's your favorite.
He's my favorite. I say he's
It's
my
actually Robert.
Oh, okay.
my favorite.
President
Who was the chief law enforcement officer of the nation
during the Kennedy administration.
Right.
Just to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Are you looking for a motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. President, I'd like to adopt the proclamation designation the week of May 14th to May 20th to be the Police Week in Susquehanna Township.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Valona, who would have asked Mr. Valona and Mr. Hisro to join the chief in presenting the plaque. It's been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Sneak it up on me.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Careful with it.
You gotta get up. I got you.
You should come to my house
Ladies
sometime.
first.
I'm not actually John F. Kennedy, Robert Kennedy.
I was Now I gotta put mine on.
Just don't look at
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, smile. One more, smile. Thank you.
All right.
Yes, thank you. Mr. President, thank you. Board,
Thank you, Chief. Hey, you set to do this one?
Yes, sir.
All right, front and center, big guy. All right, the next one is a proclamation honoring and observing May 21st and 27th to be Public Works Week in Susquehanna Township. And here to kick it off is Nate Praguner, who's our Director of Public Works.
National Public Works Week began in 1960 by the American Public Works Association in order to energize and educate the public on the importance of public works in their daily lives. Each year, the APWA designates a theme for the week. This year's theme is Connecting the World Through Public Works, highlighting how public works connects us all through infrastructure and service, enhancing the quality of life for the communities of public work professionals serve. Provided with the agenda is a copy of the proclamation. Staff recommends the Board of Commissioners adopt a proclamation designating the week of May 21st to May 27th to be Public Works Week in Susquehanna Township.
I make a motion to approve that, sir.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. And following this vote, assuming it's affirmative, I would ask that Commissioner Napper, who's Chair of Public Works, join you in the picture right up here as we did with police, along with Commissioner Hisser, who has to be second on that committee too. You don't have to roll your eyes. You don't have to if you don't want to.
It seems like I'm on
Anyway, there's a motion.
I'm on a lot of committees.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner.
Oh, I had seconded it earlier, but that's.
Oh, you did, that's right. Well, you were talking so much, I lost track. Any comments, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. It is hereby.
All right.
Public Works Week.
Ooh,
Photo, please.
today is Public Works Zone Safety Week. Yeah. Wearing orange. Yeah. There's a little guy. Here, would you like to say anything? I have a water.
Okay. Everybody smile now. Mr. Fable, maybe you need to get in there.
Yeah.
There we go. Everyone smile. One more time. Thank you.
You got me this side, didn't you? Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. All right, thank you all. Reports committees, buildings and grounds. Commissioner Rothrock is absent tonight. Commissioner Pine?
I was going to defer to the manager for the Buildings and Grounds report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Commissioner Pine. So I have a couple of updates to provide on the building renovation project and some related items. First, I'm happy to report that the parking lot lights have all been converted to LED. So they are more energy efficient. I think they're improving the illumination out in the parking lot. And that project has went pretty well, with the exception of some of the bollard lights, which we're having a little bit of a bear of a time trying to get those free. They've kind of rusted to their supporting structure. So we're working on a strategy to get those done as well. The generator's expected to be delivered in June. We're currently operating on our default backup generator, but we hope to have the new one operational as soon as possible. We had some issues with the elevator. Recently, there was a bushing that was leaking hydraulic oil. We got that repaired as of today. And for the building renovation project, we have the replacement key cylinders, which are here, and we're scheduling installation. We have a couple of minor punch list items that need to be done and some landscaping out front, but otherwise, we are nearing the finish line for this project. Just want to thank everybody again for your support. It's been kind of a labor of love, but there's an end in sight, which also includes the installation of a digital monument sign to be placed along Lingelstown Road. There was some site work being done this week to remove the old appurtenances for the current sign. They did their locates, their PA1 call for the underground utilities, and we anticipate that being done in the coming weeks. That's all I have to report, unless there's any questions on that.
Any questions of Mr. Volka? Hearing none. Budget and Finance, Commissioner Pine.
No report, Mr. President.
Thank you. Public Works, Commissioner Napper.
Yes, Mr. President, we have an update for the Paxton Church project. contractor is planning to mobilize the first week in May to clear the trees for the utilities, and the roadway detour, and lane closure is anticipated to be installed June 12th, 2023, and removed August 25th, 2023. Final completion of this project is scheduled for September 22nd, 2023, and we'll update the board and residents when more information is forthcoming. This ends my report, sir.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Be good to get that project done.
Yep. It's going to be a big one.
Yep. Health and Sanitation, Commissioner Barczyk.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a brief report that Penn Waste will be picking up yard waste from residents' homes twice in the month of May, both on Saturday, May 6th, as well as Saturday, May 20th.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Admin and Personnel, Commissioner Napper.
No report, sir.
Thank you. Police, Commissioner Felona.
No report.
Thank you. Fire and EMS, Commissioner Hisro.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, the Public Safety Committee actually met last night. Reported there was first quarter recruitment and retention program for 2023 has been submitted by the fire companies. Progress Fire Company is averaging 9 firefighters per call with a response time of 58 seconds. Very impressive. Rescue Fire Company is averaging 6 firefighters with a response time of 2 minutes 45 seconds. We also had the meeting last night, welcomed the new Susquehanna Township EMS Chief Krista Rodke. Chief Rodke, she's relatively young, but I learned she actually has quite a bit of history already with the township. She served both as a firefighter and as a paramedic with the EMS. And she reported that the calls into Harrisburg City had doubled over the past month. It was also reported by Chief Dries that we received 2 RFPs for the fire service study that appear to be qualified, and both are under budget. The study will be funded through the Dauphin County Gaming Grant Program. It's being reviewed by staff, etc., and we expect it will be presented to the commissioners next month. And then lastly, the Fire and EMS leadership is working with Public Safety Director Martin on our National Night Out program to be held on Tuesday, August 1st. Expected at the high school again. I know I attended last year. It was a really well run program. Encourage folks to attend if you can. That concludes my report.
All right, well done, thank you. Recreation, Commissioner Felona.
Yes, Mr. President. So for the Recreation Committee, we did an open house for the Redwood Hills Property project on March 28th. We had over 30 people who attended, and the feedback is by and large positive, although people really asked for a swimming pool. But I guess we have that. We may have something for that. For the bicycle pedestrian greenway master plan, we will have an open house on June 1st at the Township Building, and there will be a community bike ride on June 10th. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you. Planning and Zoning, Commissioner Pine.
Yes, Mr. President, the zoning hearing board met on April 3rd and considered a request for variance at 1820 Mountain View Road in the second ward. Mr. Stan Custer presented that request on behalf of the owner, Joseph Zisman, to allow a swimming pool to be located in the front yard of the property. Due to the slope of the property, it appeared there was no other possible location for the pool, and the variance was approved. Another variance, the Texas Roadhouse at 3529 Union Deposit Road in the 5th Ward. Burnhall Development Services, the applicant, requested a variance to install an additional wall sign over the entrance where only one is permitted. This variance was also approved. The Planning Commission met March 27. Did not meet, actually. It was canceled due to a lack of quorum. The next meeting of the Planning Commission is April 24th. That's the report, Mr. President. Thank you.
All right, thank you, good pitch. Bids and agreements, none, ordinances, resolutions, etc. We have on the table Resolution 23R7. which would enable the submission of a DCNR peer-to-peer grant application for a feasibility study of the property at 437 Larry Drive. Mr. Pavolka, you want to take that?
Thank you, Mr. President. So with your agenda, there's a copy of the resolution, and as the President indicated, it would approve or authorize, rather, the submission of a peer-to-peer grant to the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. Recently, staff has been approached by the current property owner, Mr. Randy Pence, of 437 Larry Drive. It's, as the President noted, at the former site of the Latchmere Swim Club. And the request is whether the township is interested in accepting that piece of property. So the peer-to-peer program would give us the ability at a fairly low cost. The cash match from the township would be $1,800 or 10% of the total engagement of $18,000. It would give us the ability to determine whether it's feasible to accept ownership of that property, identify some alternatives for the use of that property, and the purpose would be to develop a recommendation for the Parks and the Recreation Advisory Committee and for the Board of Commissioners at a future date. So I should emphasize that, especially in light of Commissioner Fialona's comments about some of the feedback we heard at the open house, it is really just a feasibility study at this point. It's not a committal in any manner to pursue a specific alternative or outcome, but we need to develop what the cost would be to improve the property, again, what some alternatives would be for its use, and what the potential revenue stream might look like if we were to operate it in a certain manner. So just wanted to emphasize that one point. The Rec Advisory Committee did discuss this week at their meeting, and there seemed to be some support, although it wasn't in the way of a formal motion or recommendation, in moving ahead with the peer-to-peer grant. And so staff is recommending that the board adopt the resolution and authorize the submittal of the application.
Mr. President, being in the fifth ward, rather, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt this resolution authorizing the submission of the grant, and with thanks to both Mr. Pence, the owner of Latchmere, but also the manager and our staff for doing the due diligence to ensure that this is an appropriate step to take. So I move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. And I would note that all appropriate members of staff will be involved, including public safety. Parking is an issue there, and just want to make sure everything's buttoned down from a staff perspective.
Yes, sir.
Any comments or questions? Excuse me. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 23R8, authorizing the north installation of an ADA accessible parking spot at 4375 North 6th Street. Chief.
It's under the podium there.
Brings to mind the Paul Simon song, where I tend to lean a little familiar ways. This is an older familiar. Traffic study, 4375 North 6th Street, was conducted, recommended for approval. I concur with that. I actually spoke with the homeowner this week. They're very excited to have this installed. So that's my recommendation.
Move to approve Resolution 2023-R-8.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any comments or questions?
Only that the name of that song is still crazy after all these years.
My favorite.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Next up is Resolution 23R9, which is involves the conveyance of a sewer lateral easement on Crown Point Park, tax parcel listed, to Molly Gray of 2455 Walker Mill Road, describing the easement agreement attached here to as Exhibit A. Mr. Bullcott.
Thank you, Mr. President. So again, the board has with your agenda a copy of the resolution this evening that would grant or convey a sanitary sewer easement to the property owners of the property adjoining Crown Point Park. It's been reviewed by the engineer for the Susquehanna Township Authority, and the determination is that this is the least obtrusive means of them to connect to the sanitary sewer system. The easement is a fairly modest size. It's 0.072 acres. You can see it here on the screen. I'll just use my mouse to circle the easement area here. And then down here at the bottom is below it is the property that would be the grantee of the easement. So again, we're recommending that the board approve it. And there's an easement agreement that's part of the resolution as well that would obligate the property owner for any maintenance of the sewer line, any issues, material failures or collapsing of the sewer line. And so we're indemnified in that respect if there's any deficiencies or malfunctions in the sewer line after they construct it.
I also move approval of the resolution granting this easement.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded by Commissioner Pine. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is a preliminary final subdivision plan, 4015 Reichert Road. And the current plan deadline is coming up to us. Ms. Logan's not here. Dave, you want to take it, or?
I will, yes. I'm going to be wearing multiple hats this evening. And, sorry, let me just get myself oriented here. Just to kind of give you some sense of where we're talking about here with this subdivision plan. Right here is Reichert Road, or kind of the disconnected segment of Reichert Road, which is right here. Crooked Hill intersection, right. Oh, excuse me. Oop, Crooked Hill is the intersecting street here. The property that is proposed to be subdivided is this tax parcel right here. So you can see it's a big parcel, and it's sort of oblong shaped, and it looks like the state of New Jersey. And what the proposal is to, or the subdivision request is to carve off just over 2 acres here where the existing residence is from the larger tract, which would be reserved for any future development. There is some comments that remain unaddressed that are in the packet. Staff's recommending conditional approval of the subdivision this evening, but prior to doing so, the applicant has requested a modification or a waiver from the subdivision and land development ordinance to allow this to be considered a minor subdivision, which would enable it to be approved both preliminarily and final this evening. We do have a representative on the line with us from the applicant, Mr. Val Stetler. Did I get that right? So I don't know if the board wanted to entertain any comments from Mr. Stetler, or if you have any questions for him about the specifics of the project. That's all.
Val?
Mr. Stetler, if you're there, I don't think he's muted. You're not muted. I think we are having some audio visual. I'm going to stop my share quick, and hopefully this won't.
See there?
Yeah, Mr. Stetler, I got you. I'm just gonna. It's an AV issue on our end. I'm gonna change our speaker here. Okay. Try now. And do a mic check. No.
I think can anybody hear me? Can you hear me?
Got you now. Yes, sir.
We're good.
Okay, there, yeah, it looks like my mic is working, so, okay.
All right. Did you want to maybe talk a little bit about the project and what's proposed?
Yeah, I'm happy to. I've met with the township. It's been over a period of a couple of years, actually, about this project. I do believe somewhere in the future, we are looking at a possibly development in the neighborhood development concept. But right now, the property owner just wants to subdivide the residents off. We've been in conversations with planning and your engineers about reconnecting Reichert Road, which for two means of ingress and egress. But again, that's all in the future. But right now, just subdividing the property, we're not really proposing any improvements to Reichert Road because it's still going to function essentially like a driveway. And the only thing I really have to work out with Mac and Alex is how we actually configure the right-of-way centered on the existing Reichert Road. And that's something we've been in conversations about and is a condition of the recommendation for approval. So, but I'm happy to answer any questions, but that's about it right now. We will be connecting to public sewer because we're within 300 feet of an existing sewer. So we will be doing that and decommissioning the existing on-lot system as part of the project.
Any questions from members of the board? So you're looking for a waiver, right, from preliminary plan procedures?
Correct.
Okay. And you're also looking for approval, preliminary approval of the plan, subject to the conditions outlined in the narrative.
Yes, it would be both a preliminary, if the board granted the waiver, it would be a preliminary and final approval, which is the kind of the subject of the requested waiver.
Did it go before the planning commission?
Yes, I believe it has been recommended for approval by the planning commission.
Yes, we've been before the planning commission twice, and at the last meeting, that's when Mac had recommended a conditional approval and forwarded to the commissioners.
Okay, so how would that work, Dave? The project folks will get back to Mac in your office about whether or not they met the conditions?
Yes, yeah, before the plan is signed and the recording of the plan is authorized, they would need to demonstrate compliance with the outstanding conditions.
On the basis of the staff recommendation, I move that we grant the waiver from the preliminary plan procedures.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Then there's a motion on the plan itself, subject to the conditions.
I can move that the board approve the preliminary final subdivision plan for 4015 Reichert Road, subject to the conditions recommended by the planning commission that appear in our agenda.
Second.
Moved and seconded. And just to be clear, there is no immediate or planned development for further west along Reichert Road. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Not this time. I mean, it is in the works, but that's a bit of a few months away, I'm sure.
Right, because there's a bridge that's washed out there, Reichert Bridge.
I'm sorry?
There's a bridge that was destroyed about 15, 20 years ago. It was washed out, and you would need that for ingress and egress, I believe.
Yeah, that we know we're going to be in a joint permit situation if the larger project goes forward to reconnect the old Reichert Road to the neighborhood to the south. So, yeah, it's a fairly sizable project if it goes forward.
May I ask a question of
sure.
our applicant? Mr. Stadler, one of the remaining conditions has to do with an encroachment in the front yard setback, and it's been kind of difficult for Mac, the zoning officer, and myself, even when we were looking at this afternoon, to figure out exactly what, if anything, is encroaching on that. Can you provide any context there? It would really be what, if you can see my screen here, I believe it is this appurtenance here. You can see the setback line, sort of here. Is that just a hardscape feature, or is that?
Yeah, it's a hardscape feature, and that's why I added that note. And yeah, I don't think that should trigger anything as far as setback issues.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. It's been moved and seconded. Any other questions? All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Okay, on to reports. Township manager.
Thank you, Mr. President. My report is in your packet. I have the first remittance report from the Vacant Property Registry service with HERA. And so you can see some of the revenue that is bringing in and additional registrations. So that's been, I think, a welcomed change for that program. Commissioner Hissero already reported on the Public Safety Committee's review of the proposals for the fire study, so I won't belabor that. And Commissioner Napper reported on the 2 projects that are currently underway with the Susquehanna Township Authority, the North Branch Extension, as well as the Paxton Church Road Rehab. The other items I'll just leave as written, except to just remind the board and anybody watching that we have our inaugural Arbor Day celebration coming up. Preparations are complete. It's going to be a really exciting event. Hopefully the weather will cooperate. It'll be right over here at Christian McNaughton Park, Friday, May 28th, 1 to 2 p.m. We have a number of things planned for the 3rd grade students that are going to participate in that program. There'll be a tree planting, a presentation from a ISA certified arborist, Brian Chase with Bartlett. He's also going to be, Bartlett will be donating bare root trees for the students to take home with them and hopefully not muddy the bus too much up on the way home from school, but we'll see about that. And in addition, we have a wildfire black gum that's been donated from Black Landscaping that we're going to be planting right adjacent to the play area that over time will give a lot of nice shade to the play structures there. Yeah, I'm just really looking forward to it. So
Very good.
That concludes my report, unless there's any questions.
I have one. Just for clarification on the Paxton Church Road, I was listening to Vice President Napper's Public Works report, and I thought he said that there would be a detour from June to August, and your report says July to August. So I just want to clarify, from earlier, I thought it was going to be a little bit longer than that. I thought it was June as well, but I just wanted to get a clarification on that.
June is correct. That's my error. Apologize. But we're still working out some of the details. Of course, a lot of that is tentative right now. We're going to hopefully minimize, and I'm still waiting on the detour plan to be reviewed by Public Safety. We're going to try to minimize the disruption on residents and motorists to hopefully keep it open for one lane for as long as possible and to only have the detour for a short duration.
That's it, Dave?
Yes, sir.
Public safety, anything else, Chief?
Yes, sir.
Mr. President,
Yes, ma'am.
if I may, this is, when Manager Babolka was giving his report about shade tree, he talked about the wildfire.
Black gum.
Yeah. It just made me think of something as far as public safety. I've been seeing in the news a lot lately about the threat of fire because of the dry weather. And I know a lot of municipalities have been adopting like a temporary no open burning policy. And I don't know if it's something we need to consider, but at the very least make residents aware that open burning is very dangerous at this time because of the shortage of rainfall and the dry weather we've had.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Good. I don't know if
Yeah.
Fire Marshal.
Fire Marshal, you want to elaborate on the burn ban in the township?
Yes, we have, for the citizens, there is no open burning in Susquehanna Township. As people know it, they can still go ahead and burn in like a chimney, or they can cook. Traditionally, this time of year, there's certain cultures that will take some of the yard waste and burn over top of where they want to go ahead and plant their vegetable gardens, those kind of things. We have had numerous calls and re-educated people, both the fire service as well as the police department, on what the laws are in regards to open burning and how dangerous it is. For the record, for the residents, there is no open burning in Susquehanna Township. It's been pretty much like that since 1988. We put it out into the newsletter, social media, and we re-educate as we go. And usually we do not have to go back more than once to talk to the people. But I know it's something that's a concern for all the commissioners, and I know that they get calls. There's always the anonymous calls that we deal with. We take your complaints and concerns and do that as well.
What about fire pits? Are
Fire pits are legal. They have to be 15 feet away from the house or from the structure. They have to be attended at all times. It has to be dry season wood. It can't be their trash. It can't be leaves. It can't be the clippings, the green clippings from spring cleaning, spring trimming, and that's pretty much it. The caveat, the crazy caveat is if the smoke leaves their property and it goes to a neighbor's property, it's like trespassing. And we have to go tell them to put it out. Yes, we can't, no one can regulate the wind. And yes, it went to the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court because it was handed to me once years ago in the Fifth Ward. And but yeah, that's that. They can cook. As long as they're cooking food, that's okay. But it has to be attended at all times. And if the smoke goes across, because there's medical issues for people, that, hey, you just have to be aware of that and tell people, no, you need to shut it down because the smoke has gone over.
So at this time with the dry weather, you don't think there's a concern with fire pits burning?
The fire pits, if anybody feels there's a problem with a fire pit, okay, please call my phone number down in the office. My cell phone is on that answer machine, so if I'm not in the office, they can go ahead and they can page me or call me, and I'll go out and talk to them. But it has to be attended at all times. They have to have a means to extinguish it, whether it's a garden hose, a bucket of water, whatever.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hopefully that clears it up.
Time's up. Yeah. Public Works, do you have anything? Nate?
My report's attached, if you have any questions or anything, sir.
All right. Solicitor?
I have no report.
School Board? Brian?
Very briefly, Mr. President, work at the concession stand project is well underway at the stadium, as well as just noting that the sending schools are in the process of approving new articles for the Dauphin County Technical School. That's the extent of my report, Mr. President.
Very good, thank you. Authority, Commissioner Napper.
Yes, Mr. President. Message from the Sewer Authority. We now have a tentative milestone date for the North Branch Sewer Extension Project. Surveying will begin, it began this week, starting April 17th. We'll be doing clearing. Will begin April 24th. Environmental, the erosion and sedimation control will be installed May 1st. Material delivery will be May 1st through the 14th. And groundbreaking is scheduled between May 15th and May 24th. No tentative completion date is known at this time. We'll update the board and residents as this information becomes available. That's the end of my report, Mr. President.
Thank you. They did have one town meeting
Yes.
a couple months ago that I went to. Were they, and I missed the last authority meeting, but are they planning any other meetings or updates?
I didn't hear it,
No?
unless you know of
None
any.
that I'm aware
Okay,
of right
that's
now.
fine. It was a very lively meeting. Yep. Shade Tree, Commissioner Pine.
Mr. President, only to say thanks to both the manager and members of the Shade Tree Commission for the work on the Arbor Day observance. You know, especially, as I say, our manager, but also the Shade Tree Commission Chairman, Bill Allen, and really a person who was a driving force behind the Arbor Day observance, and that is Shade Tree Commissioner Steve Drockler, who really, I think, was pushing hard for that, so we thank him for that. It's going to be a nice little observance, so that's about it. Yeah, you're right.
We'll be Tree City, USA by this time next year.
All right.
Trees are nice.
Trees are nice
And
and
in fact, that, I think you might have not included that in your report, but we're going to be presenting some Trees Are Nice books. That's a classic child's book, Trees Are Nice. And we're presenting copies to the first grade classes
kindergarten and first grade classes at Susquehanna Township School District.
as part of the Arbor Day observance.
Yes, sir.
What's so nice about it?
Well, you have to read the book.
That's a teaser. That's a teaser.
I want to read it.
It's a good book.
I'll wait for the DVD. Communications, Commissioner Williams,
I do not have a report, Mr. President.
you have a newsletter coming out, right?
Well, we do.
I think the copy was due this week.
Copy was due earlier this week, that's correct, and just saw a preliminary draft earlier today. That's
Probably
not a
have-
teaser.
We'll probably hit the streets in May or June.
Yes, I think mail date is mid-May. Forgive me, I don't know the exact date, but somewhere May 15th, around there.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Parks and Rec, I guess we're all covered there. Commissioner Polona and Hisro.
I just want to add though that there will be we'll be at the Wetlands Festival on April 29th. And of course, there'll be a tour belt on June 4th. The township has actually a team for that. And that'll be all.
What kind of wetlands?
Wetlands.
Wetland.
Yeah, at the Wildwood Park.
Okay, moving on to old business. First up is Zen City contract renewal. Mr. Provoca.
Thank you, Mr. President. Staff is recommending that the board table this item to May 11th this evening.
All right, new business. I guess we need to take a vote on that, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Morgan?
So moved.
Move the table.
Second.
And second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Consent agenda, there's a number of items there that you will see. Statement of bills paid, condition of offer of employment for both Aaron Anderson and Herbert Chappell, who we met during executive session. Approval of the sale of the 1998 Ford Explorer Expedition for $6,600. Acceptance of the resignation of Amber Green, the office staff. Acceptance of the resignation of Officer Angel Cruz. Financial security reduction number 14, Susquehanna Union Green, in the amount of $178,636. And pay application number 9, administrative office renovations to the tune of $30,945.05. This is consent. They will be considered in a unit, but any commissioner is entitled and
Move to approve the consent agenda. I'll second.
comment. It's been moved by Commissioner Pine, seconded by Commissioner Hisro. Any comments or questions on any one of those 8 items? Must be a pirate game tonight. All right. Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And next up is the Eagle Scout project authorization.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had a request from Lydia Wolf, candidate for Eagle Scout. under Boy Scout Troop 2200 in Hershey. She would like to install a rustic trail in Logan Farm Park. There's a rendering that's in your packet, and as soon as I can zoom in to it. Oh, there we go. You could see the leg of the trail that's going to connect the two waypoints here. So it's this highlighted segment right in here. It will be a unimproved trail, so there's going to be no surface material placed on it, either wood chips or trail surface aggregate. It will just be the floor of the forest. And we'll have some wayfinding signage as well with that. The only request from the board, or to the board, is that there be $400 allocated for the installation of the signage.
Mr. President, I'd like to move the approval of this project. I will add that Ms. Wolf attended the RAC meeting earlier this week, had a nice presentation, and the RAC committee did okay it as well, so that could be added, but I'll also move approval of this.
So you're
Second.
moving the approval of the project
Budget.
itself plus the budget of
And plus the budget of $400.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Polona. Any discussion or questions from the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And once she concludes the project, as we've done in the past, we'll have her come and present those results to the board.
Yeah. Commissioner comments? Moving on. The chair will entertain a motion to get out of here.
I'll move. Second.
Moved and seconded to move. I'll move.
Fired, so 4-0.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We are out of here.